For the reading, I my main takeaway was how a little bit more difficult it is to take 360 photos, and it's mostly because of like the camera settings are very different, especially for aperture. I really am trying to get used to like changing my other everything but the aperture for my camera, especially for my GoPro. Like my my photos are very like decently lit in some areas, and then when I rotate them, they get very into like a light source. They are very bright, and I'm very 50-50 with it. I think with what I want to do with 360 photography is mostly studio photography or or real estate photography, which is very easy to control scenarios. So it's not like the biggest deal for me with how sometimes limited my like 360 photography can be. Um I think like the general like applicate like the general what's it called? The general theories and practices behind just general photography is very helpful for the for the for 360 video. However, like in my experience, like for this week, um, a lot of my photos were very unevenly lit, and mostly because I was taking them like in either my backyard, which at nighttime was very grainy. My I think like I'm really okay with like submitting these photos because like they're very experimental, and I'm still getting used to my GoPro. One of the things that I didn't like was how sometimes the photos were taken in the wrong mode, and this is just a nitpick on the GoPro and not actual 360 the actual photos. Um, and I didn't realize that until as I was editing them, and by that time, with all my other projects going along and out, it was a little too late, and my photos were in panorama mode, and I'm trying to figure out how to get those photos to be 360, and I really don't know if I can or not. In terms of the fast fast like moving photos, I stuck my GoPro outside my car, and that was nerve-wracking, but it was okay because I had it set up where it was safe. And I don't know if it was a setting issue or not issue per se, but the way my GoPro was taking those fast-paced photos was very it was just like perfect stills. And I don't know if that's like on the GoPro itself or me on my camera settings. Um other other photos I took like with the stitching was actually very cool because I did that because I have a small pantry, and there's a lot of nooks and crannies in there that I like to experiment with. And overall, I think that those photos came out the way I wanted them to come out, which is really interesting because some of the what's it called perspective of something of some closer things, such as like I think there was like a coffee can in there, and it made like when it's stitched, it made the coffee can look way bigger than it actually was when I was going around 360. But a majority of this is just practicing because I'm just used to a more traditional camera, and also just learning this GoPro in general because it's very weird sometimes, and it's honestly very irritating how every time I turn on my camera, it doesn't save the mode that's in, and I'm like, oh boy. Or when I'm moving the camera, because there's a little touch screen, that it'll change the mode and I won't even notice, and I'm like very paranoid about it now.